Have you ever wondered how a huge breakthrough idea is actually born? You know, it's almost never this big eureka moment. It's way more like a detective story, where someone pieces together a bunch of old clues to solve a brand new mystery. Today, we're going to be those detectives. We're going to uncover the secret conversations of science to see how knowledge is really built.
So let's start with the most fundamental question there is. Whether you're in a science lab or a boardroom, where do brand new insights actually come from? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. It's not magic. New knowledge pretty much always comes from new combinations of old knowledge. The best way to think about it is like Legos, right? Real creativity isn't about making brand new types of bricks. It's about finding brilliant new ways to connect the ones we've already got. And that leads us to the central mystery for today. If creating new knowledge is all about making connections, does that mean all the experts in one field are in one giant room building on the same big pile of ideas? Or are they kind of siloed off in separate rooms, having completely different conversations?
Okay, so to solve this mystery, researchers needed a tool. I mean, they couldn't exactly listen in on every conversation in every university around the world, so instead they decided to follow the trail of breadcrumbs that every scientist leaves behind in every paper they publish, the citations. And the key to this whole thing is a concept called cocitation. Now, it sounds a little academic, but the idea is super simple. When a new paper references two older papers at the same time, that's a cocitation. It's like a little flare, a signal that the author is taking the idea from this paper and the idea from that paper and mashing them together to create something new.
Now, imagine this happening not just once, but thousands and thousands of times. A paper links strategy to human resources. Another one links innovation to psychology. You multiply that across decades of research, and what you get is this massive, intricate map, a kind of blueprint of how an entire field of ideas is connected or not. So our detectives, they took this tool and they pointed it at 4 of the top journals in management science. They started mapping out these idea networks to see if they were all basically having the same conversation. And while the first clues they found were startling, to say the least. 67%. Just let that number sink in for a second. It represents a massive disconnect, a huge communication gap right at the heart of a scientific field. So here's what that number actually means. Get this. 2/3 of all the unique idea combinations that were happening in one of the top journals, AMJ, never once appeared in another top journal, ASQ. It's like they were operating in totally separate intellectual worlds. And this wasn't just a one-off thing between those two. The same pattern popped up again and again with the other big journals. The evidence was piling up, and it was clear. Each of these publications has its own unique intellectual personality, its own knowledge combination profile. And the network maps really tell the story. You can see AMJ's network is just way denser, meaning its ideas are much more interconnected. But here's the real smoking gun. Among the most influential papers in the field, AMJ had 0 isolated ideas. Not one. But ASQ had 5 major important ideas that were completely left out of the main conversation. So you can think of AMJ's knowledge world as this dense, tightly woven web. It's like a bustling city center where every major idea is connected to the core conversation, and everyone's talking. But in contrast, ASQ's network is more like a quiet countryside with these lonely houses on the outskirts. It's sparser. And really critically, 5 of the field's most important ideas are just floating out there, totally disconnected from what everyone else in that journal is talking about.
So the network maps pointed to something strange, but then the researchers found the absolute smoking gun. Entire conversations, entire subject areas that were happening in one journal and were being met with complete and utter silence in another. Okay, so check out case file number 1. In AMJ, there's this tight-knit group of 6 really influential articles on a topic called strategic human resources. In that journal's world, they're all connected, forming this coherent conversation. But what about those exact same 6 articles over in ASQ's world? Total silence. They are completely disconnected. In fact, not a single pair of them was ever cited together. Ever.
I mean, the researchers' own words just confirm how stark this is. The conversation wasn't just quieter in ASQ, it basically didn't exist at all. This was a secret conversation that only AMJ was having. But this wasn't a one-way street. ASQ had its own secrets too. In case file number 2, A cluster of 5 articles on innovation and sense-making formed this vibrant, connected discussion within ASQ. And those same 5 articles over in AMJ, you guessed it, total radio silence, completely disconnected. Okay, so we've found the secret conversations. We've proven that even within a single scientific field, you have these siloed communities. So what's the verdict? I mean, why should this actually matter to any of us?
Well, here's the really big takeaway. Knowledge isn't just this objective thing we discover. It's actually built by people inside communities that develop their own personalities. But this creates these huge intellectual blind spots, where one group is totally unaware of what's happening just next door. And here's the twist. Those blind spots, they are also the single biggest opportunities for anyone who's brave enough to connect the dots. And this is really the most optimistic part of the whole thing, coming straight from the researchers. A knowledge gap isn't just a problem, it's an opportunity. The secret conversation happening in one journal is a potential breakthrough for another. It's a chance to build a bridge and create something totally new. And that leaves us with one last big question. If all progress really does come from connecting ideas in new ways, what groundbreaking innovations are we missing out on right now simply because the right people are in different rooms having secret conversations? What incredible new worlds are just waiting out there for someone, maybe someone like you, to finally connect them?